Are the Ruger Mark series of pistols still viable? Let's go. The Ruger Mark series of pistols are iconic 22 LR pistols. Quite possibly the best-selling semi-automatic 22 LR pistol ever. They've been out for over 70 years, and the Mark IV that you see here has been out for a good 3 or 4 years. In my opinion, the Mark IV is the best overall Mark series pistol. And if anyone's ever owned a Series 1, 2, or 3, you know exactly what I'm going to say. The disassembly alone on the Mark IV makes it the best compared to any of the Mark series of pistols. Just took the magazine out. On the back of the Mark IV, I don't want to point this at my face. Come on. Yeah, there you go. There's a little button right there. We're going to push that button in the back of the pistol and it lifts right off. Simple as that. That's how you field strip it. If you want to take the bolt out, you can take the bolt out as well. Clean it, lube it, do whatever you got to do, and you're good to go. Putting it back together, it just snaps on the frame, push down. Simple as that. The Mark IIIs, you had this big pull lever, you had to pull down and then take out and then flip it over, smack it, rub it down, and it was just a process. Not impossible, but it was a process. The Mark IV is so much easier. So let's dive up close. I want to go over some of the differences between the different versions of the Mark pistol, and we'll go over some of the specifics on the Mark IV. As you can see on the screen, there are roughly 8 different versions of the Mark IV. The one I have here is a 2245, but there is hunter models, target models, light models, tactical models. There's a bunch of different options for you. As far as your magazines, it comes with 2 metal magazines that are traditionally very high quality. You have your load assist tabs like most 22 LR magazines, and your magazines in your Mark IV will work in the, the magazines in the Mark III will work in the Mark IV. The pistol does have a magazine disconnect. If it was a defensive pistol, I might have a problem with that, but I don't think anyone's going to be carrying their Mark IV as their EDC gun, so no big deal. The frame on this particular Mark series of pistol is polymer. Some of the higher end ones that I showed you a couple seconds ago, the Hunter and the Target, they have different types of metal magazines, whether it be aluminum or whatever, depending on which one you get. The back of the grip as well as the front of the grip has some nice checkering to help you keep a positive grip, because you know that 22 LR is punishing on recoil. The grip angle is a 1911 style grip angle, so most people will find that at points very comfortable, very natural. The magazine release is not ambi, however, it flies out. Some of the older Mark III series of pistols didn't shoot the magazines out very well, and then the Mark I and II, your magazine release was actually at the bottom of the grip, so not very efficient for magazine changes, especially if someone's going to consider using this for competitions. The slide release is another thing that's different between the Mark III and the Mark IV. This is the Mark III, and as you can see, it has a small push button for your slide release, where the Mark IV here has more of a traditional slide release. I definitely like the slide release on the Mark IV a lot more than the Mark III. It's much easier to lock the bolt to the rear, not the slide, and much easier to send the slide forward if you choose to use it as a slide release. As far as your safety, that's another thing that's different. The Mark IV has a very traditional safety. As far as the style and the look of it, kind of a 1911 style. It is ambi. However, if you're right-handed, you can take the left side off and have it strong side only. It is a very easy safety to swipe on and off. Again, not a defensive pistol, so I'm not all that worried about it. But when you're shooting, you may want to shoot with your thumb over the top of the safety so you don't flick it back on accident. This here is the Mark III, and all of the buttons are that push button control. So like your magazine release, your slide release, and your safety, it's all that small little button. So again, the Mark IV, I definitely like the controls a lot better. Moving up to the barrel on all of the Mark series of pistols are very high quality. This particular one is a 5.5 inch cold hammer forged bull barrel. And I'll tell you, these lead to some very, very accurate guns. The top of the slide, and I believe all of them are drilled and tapped. Maybe not on some of the light models, but on most of the Mark series pistols, they are drilled and tapped if you want to add a rail and then an optic or anything like that. Obviously the slides are not reciprocating like most guns. The only thing that moves is this bolt that moves back and forth. So it should lead to faster, more accurate shooting between the reduced recoil of the 22 and your targets staying on sight and then your target's not moving. You should be able to shoot this pistol very, very fast, where a traditional gun, this is the Glock 44, see if I can do this, your whole slide moves, so you're kind of losing sight of that front sight for a second before you can pick it back up because it moves so quickly. The bolt here does have tabs to help you to pull it to the rear as well. The other nice thing you can do with the Mark IV that you couldn't do with some of the other Mark series of pistols is load the pistol using the slingshot method. So you can obviously use it as a slide release, or if you pull back on the bolt tabs, send it forward. A lot of people like loading the slide that way also. The sights on this particular model, the front is a blacked out front sight. There's no colors on it at all, and me personally, I'm not a huge fan of that. Not all of the Mark series pistols have that front sight blacked out, just this particular one. I know lots of people like blacked out sights. I just wish it had a little red or green or something there to focus on. Again, aftermarket accessories for this pistol, the market is huge. There's tons of different sights. If you buy a 2245 model and like me, you don't like the blacked out rear, there's tons of different sights you can get for it. As far as your rear sight, it is excellent. It's adjustable for windage and for elevation. So it should be, again, very easy to sight in and get shots on target. Now, I've put hundreds and hundreds of rounds through both of these Mark series of pistols, and I have had dozens of people shoot these, whether that be new shooters or some of the NRA basic pistol classes that I've hosted, and they have always been super reliable with very, very few malfunctions. With that said, I did take them to the range last week just so I can get an updated or a reminded feel of what they're like to shoot and play around with at the range. So let's take a look how we did at the range, and then we'll come back for some final thoughts. I know 22LR has pretty much no recoil, but just for fun, let's compare the recoil on the Glock 44 to the Mark IV. More than just a recoil, just kind of how they feel and what they're like to shoot. Mark IV first, tough mag release, slide release, super easy, like I said. All right. The grip is so much chunkier, so much fatter. Slide release a million times easier on the Glock. The recoil's not more, but you feel the slide moving back and forth. Obviously, there's a lot more mass with the Glock slide than just the bolt on the Ruger. So that's my first thought. About the same. Like I said, you can feel the slide move more on the Glock because it's bigger and there's more mass there, but they're both fun to shoot. There's something just very familiar about a pistol like this that I can shoot faster and I enjoy more. Definitely the sights, because the sight has something to focus on. It has that white dot, where the Ruger, like I said, this particular one is a blacked out front sight, and I don't care for the blacked out front sights. So, I asked in the beginning of the video, are the Ruger Mark Series of pistols still a viable 22 LR? And I think absolutely positively they're definitely a good option if you're looking for a 22 LR semi-automatic pistol. Obviously the disadvantage over something like the Glock 44 is you kind of can't use it as a trainer. Glock pushed this a lot as a trainer for a G19. If you choose to do that, you do lose that option. But the Ruger Mark Series of pistols are super reliable. They are very, very accurate. They're great for hunting small game, teaching new kiddos, plinking at the range, any new shooters, anything like that. They are very, very good guns. And they, especially now with the Mark IV series of pistols and how easy they are to take apart and clean, that was the big disadvantage of the Mark 1, 2, and 3 series of pistols. As far as cons, I don't have any to the Mark series in general. This specific model, I do not like the blacked out front sight. A lot of people do like that. I understand. I don't prefer it. I want a little red or green dot or something there as contrast. My eyes just pick that up better. Again, there are so many aftermarket parts and accessories for these guns out there, whether you want to do the sights or a rail or a trigger or a grip or something breaks on it. There's a ton of aftermarket parts, so it's not a huge deal. Thank you very much for watching my videos. It is truly, truly appreciated. If you could, hook a brother up with a quick like and go ahead and click that subscribe button. This way, you get notified when we come out with new videos. I'll see y'all next time.